Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the player ratings. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 0 last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Another defeat for Frank Lampard, making it our fourth of the season and our second straight defeat, of course, after last week's defeat to Manchester United. Another poor performance, another toothless performance really, another performance in which Everton should have gotten something out of had we have taken our chances in the first half. I think tactically it was always going to be a defend and hit them on the counter-attack when you can type of performance, and you know, we had opportunities to do that in the first half, and unfortunately the players that those opportunities fell to couldn't hit the target or even give Hugo Lloris something to think about or worry about. We have just done the instant match reaction. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. This is the player ratings. We're going to jump straight into this one because I'm absolutely starving and want to go and get something to eat. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give Jordan a 4 today. Yesterday. Look, as much as I think it's never a penalty, and as much as I think it's a blatant dive by Harry Kane, and as much as I think that for some reason the Everton players, Jordan included, didn't protest it and didn't, absolutely make the referee go over and check that again because it was never ever a penalty. As much as I think all of that, let's be honest, it is a mistake by Jordan Pickford. It's an extremely tame shot hit at him that he should comfortably be able to hold on to and deal with. And when it bounces off of him again, he throws himself into an area against a player who dives more than anybody in the Premier League, throws himself in there, and even given the distinct lack of contact, he was always going to throw himself on the floor and go down. And ultimately, as I said, whether it is a penalty or not, which I don't believe it is a penalty, it's a mistake by Jordan in the first place to allow that shot to have spilled and to, ultimately allow that situation to have played out. It should never have ever played out. Jordan should have kept hold of the ball, and we should have been on the attack from that. I actually am a little bit disappointed with Jordan for not questioning the decision of the referee as well. I think Jordan probably knows, given his experience and relationship with Harry Kane from the England setup, he probably knows that when Harry Kane goes down and asks for something, Harry Kane gets it because the referees are too scared to say no to him. However, I think Jordan should have been in the face of the referee, effectively screaming and shouting and saying it's never a penalty, because it was never a penalty. He doesn't. He sort of just lies there and accepts that he's made the mistake, and that makes the referee's decision an awful lot easier because there's absolutely no, there's no sort of question from Jordan whatsoever. Other than that, I think his distribution was off. I think his distribution could have been a lot better. I think his kicking could have been an awful lot better. He made a couple of okay saves. He had a couple of moments, especially in the first half, where he ran out to chances, and he got there first, and he ultimately put an end to a couple of attacks from Spurs. But ultimately, I think I've just said ultimately about 15 times there. Sorry, but conclusively, he wasn't anywhere near as good as what he usually is, and he wasn't anywhere near as good as what we expect him to be. So therefore, he's getting a 4 out of 10. Vitaly Mykolenko at left back, he can get a 6.5. I think he done okay. I don't think he was necessarily to blame for either of the goals really. Again, my big sort of worry with Vitaly at the moment is he just isn't offering us anything going forward, really. And when you've got wingers who are completely out of form or just don't have an awful lot of quality in the first place, in Gordon or Gray or McNeil, you sort of need your fullbacks to offer that bit of support. You sort of need your fullbacks to be able to, get forward and create opportunities and ultimately put teams under pressure and create chances. And I just don't think Vitaly Mykolenko is doing that at the moment. Defensively, I thought he was okay yesterday. I thought he looked good. dealt with everything that he sort of needed to deal with. Quite quiet, really. Didn't have an awful lot to do in the game. Was quite a quiet performance. But when he had to do what he needs to do defensively, he did it. But going forward, there's just nothing there from Vitali. There's nothing there, and we need to see more. But yeah, I thought he was probably average yesterday, and that gives him a 6.5. Centre backs then, James Tarkowski. I'm giving James a 7.5 out of 10. I thought him and Connor Cody were our best players on the pitch. In fact, no, I'm going to give James an 8 out of 10 because I think he deserves that. Had Everton have won this game, we'd all be sitting here talking about him saying he's an 8, 9, out of 10. And the reality is we didn't lose this game because of James Tarkowski, so he deserves to be given that. Yeah, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was excellent from the first minute to the last minute. In the first couple of minutes of the game, he was having to, put in defensive work. He was having to make sure that ultimately Spurs didn't get in one-on-one with goal. There were a couple of over-the-top balls he had to deal with, a couple of through balls that he had to deal with, a couple of slide challenges he had to make. And I think he done it all really, really, really well. Thought it was a really strong professional performance by James Tarkowski. And as I said, I thought him and Connor Cody were, without a doubt, the best on the pitch in Everton shirts. Thought he was very, very good. Having said that, Connor Cody next to him. I'm going to give Connor a 7.9 because I don't think he was as impactful as what James Tarkowski was, but I still think he was very, very good. Again, very solid, leading by example as well, was constantly talking to players, constantly sort of telling players where to be and what to do and where to go, etc. And defensively, I thought he done okay. I thought he done everything he needed to do. He stood up, he battled, he worked hard. His passing was okay. His tackling was good. There was a couple of times that he had to deal with Harry Kane, and he dealt with him. Yeah, I thought it was a very, very, very good performance by both centre halves yesterday, and one that I think they're unfortunate to be, again, 2 weeks on the bounce. They're unfortunate to be on the losing team because of how good their performances were. So yeah, they deserve credit for that. Seamus Coleman then at right back. I'm going to give Seamus a 6.5 as well, same as Vitaly Mikalenko. Same circumstance, really. Defensively, I thought he was okay. Thought he put himself about. Thought he battled. Thought he worked hard. But going forward, he offers us absolutely nothing. He offers us absolutely nothing anymore. And it's sad because there was once a time when Seamus Coleman offered more than any right back in world football going forward. And we're now at a time when he offers us absolutely nothing whatsoever. I said it in the instant match reaction, and I'll say it again. The sooner we get Nathan Patterson back, the better. And that's not necessarily because Seamus is awful or he's making mistakes or he's causing, he's making mistakes that lead to goals. It's just that I just don't think he offers us anything. Whereas at least Nathan gives us that bit of dynamism, that bit of fight, that bit of energy, that bit of he sort of strikes fear into the opposition. Whereas Seamus is almost has fear struck into him from the opposition. Everything's an easy ball, everything's a turn round and play it comfortably. There's never any risk, there's never any attempt to try and make something happen, and effectively that means that he's although he's not doing anything wrong, he's also not doing anything right in that sense. But defensively, I thought he was solid, and I suppose for a player of his age, and the fact that we know, and he knows, and everybody knows he's not the number one right back. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, and maybe he just put in an half decent performance yesterday that deserves to be, credited as a half decent performance. But again, I just expect better from both fullbacks, really, not just Seamus. Into the midfield then, Garner Gay. I'm going to give Garner a 5.5 out of 10. I thought in the first half he was very, very, very involved. In fact, I thought in the first half he was probably our best player. To be fair, he was moving the ball around. He was winning it back. He was nicking it back from those Tottenham players when they were having it in the midfield and trying to get forward. He was grabbing it. He was moving it. He was putting in a couple of really good challenges. He was working hard. He was running around. He was active. He was about. He was there or thereabouts to to disturb the play and to break up the play. The second half, he was completely absent. He may as well have been sat next to me in the stand, or stood next to me in the stand, should I say. He was completely absent, and I think ultimately that was why he was brought off with 20 minutes to go or whatever it was. He just wasn't involved whatsoever, and I thought the entire midfield yesterday were poor in the sense of that they weren't necessarily poor on the ball, any of them. Amadou Onana or Garner on the ball. I thought they all looked okay, but they weren't involved. They weren't controlling the game. They weren't taking the game by the scruff of the neck and running with it. And that's why, ultimately, as I said, Garner was absent in the second half. Iwobi was nowhere near as involved as he has been in recent weeks. Onana was nowhere near as involved as he has been in recent weeks. On the ball, they looked okay, but off the ball, and a midfield's job is to control the game. Control the pace of the game, control the outcome of the game, control the game. None of the three of them did that effectively yesterday, and I think they deserve criticism for that. Having said that, Iwobi then, I'm going to give Iwobi a 6 because I thought, as I said, on the ball he looked okay. I thought when he had to go to right back, he looked okay as well. He worked hard. But the reality is he just wasn't involved anywhere near as much as what he should have been. And what he has been in recent weeks as well, as I said. I don't think he was particularly bad. But ultimately, I don't think he was particularly great either. He wasn't really involved. Wasn't involved anywhere near as much as he should have been. And yeah, again, I love Alex Iwobi. I think Alex Iwobi's been brilliant this season, and I don't think he was by any sense the worst player on the pitch yesterday, but he should have maybe been involved a little bit more. Carl says, bit harsh on Seamus. He's doing what he can, and we all know he's lacking pace and fitness. No, again, I don't think Seamus was... I can't sit here and give Seamus a 10 out of 10 because he's doing what he can, or give him a 10 out of 10 because he's playing at the best of his ability. The reality is, he wasn't very good because that's what he is at the moment. He is doing what he can. He's working hard. He's battling. He's fighting. The reality is, he shouldn't be anywhere near this Everton team. Certainly not starting in games like this. And he isn't when our number one is fit. So I get it. You give him the benefit of the doubt. You cut him a little bit of slack. But that doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and go, everyone else is a 4-5. Seamus can get an 8 because he's doing what he can. He wasn't very good. It might be what he can, and he might have worked hard, and he might have battled, and he might have been solid defensively. But going forward, you need more from him. Anyway, where am I? Onana. I'm going to give Onana a 5. I thought he was below par yesterday. I did. Again, similarly to Iwobi and Garner, he wasn't involved anywhere near as he has been in recent weeks. And as he should be, as a 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is, centre midfielder, he should be involved an awful lot more. We should be talking about him constantly being up and down the pitch, constantly, creating chances, constantly getting involved. And he wasn't. He won the ball back a couple of times. He put in a couple of challenges. When he had the ball at his feet, his passing was okay. But he wasn't involved anywhere near as much as what he should have been yesterday. And his chance in the first half is an absolute sitter. And listen, I don't really care if you're a centre midfielder. I don't care if you're a forward. I don't care if you're a defender. If you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper from that distance, you've simply got to do better. You've simply got to hit the target. You've simply got to make the goalkeeper work. You've got to give the goalkeeper something to think about. And he didn't yesterday, and that is poor for me. That is really, really poor. So yeah, I thought he was below par. Again, coming up against a good team, nothing to, sit here and cry our eyes out about and particularly worry about, but I just thought he could have done better yesterday. And then the forward line, McNeil is getting a 3. First half, I thought he worked hard. I thought he battled. I thought he, put himself about a little bit on a couple of occasions. For the rest of the game, second half included, he was abysmal. He was absolutely woeful. Gray, very similarly, again, same with Onana. Gray's getting a 3 though, because, ultimately, look, Onana's a midfielder, new to the league, probably lost his composure a little bit. For Demarai Gray to not hit the target from the 6-yard box is fucking abysmal. Absolutely, pardon my language, but it's fucking abysmal. And he should do so much better in that position, so much better in that area. And if he does, then Everton are maybe 1-0 up, and it's a completely different game. It's a completely different outcome. And look, you could say, well, don't be too harsh, Cam. Everyone misses chances. Everyone misses opportunities. Gay should be doing so much better there. It's as simple as that. He really, really should. And other than that, I thought he was completely absent. And McNeil's getting a 3 as well. Ran round, worked hard, put himself about. Bit of fight, bit of battle, bit of determination. But the reality is, nothing going forward. Didn't have a shot. Didn't create space for himself. Just nothing at all. Onto the subs then. Dom can get a 5 because he come on him. He touched the ball a couple of times to give a foul away. He didn't really do anything else. Rondon can get a 5 because of the exact same reasons. And James Garner can have a 6 because, he come on and you could see him trying to make things happen. You could see him trying to pick the ball up in the midfield, trying to drive with it, trying to look for space, trying to look for options. Unfortunately, those options and that space wasn't there. But he was still, did I say McNeil? Mope, I mean, gets a 3 because he was shite. Garner was okay. When he come on. Anyway, look, we are going to leave it there, short and sweet. But, it is what it is. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. It does only take a second. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We will be back over the next couple of days with the game review, so don't forget to look out for that one. And if you're watching this YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below. Another defeat. We put it behind us again. We move on, and hopefully we can get some redemption on Wednesday against Newcastle. Big thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later.